What's up, y'all? Welcome to Draw Every Day. My name is Sean, and today we're going to be drawing Serac, the main antagonist of Westworld Season 3, played by Vincent Cassel. But before we get to that, if you could click subscribe and then help the like button attain sentience, I'd really appreciate it. We're going to be giving away a Huion H610 Pro graphics tablet at 1,000 subs. We're rapidly approaching that, and I'm going to let you know how to enter at the end of the video. Okay, so if you're not aware, tonight is the season finale of Westworld Season 3. It's been a great season, and Vincent Cassel, a wonderful actor, plays one of the main antagonists, perhaps the main antagonist, a guy by the name of Engerraund Serac. And he's just a great character, kind of created or helped create an AI that sort of controls the world and keeps him at the top. So basically I named this piece Serac's Perfect World, and if you've seen the show, I hope it'll be apparent why, and if you haven't, maybe it won't, but I hope you like the piece. As you can see right now, I did a quick sketch of the face. I used the same technique that I always do, where I put a grid on it so that I could get the proportions correctly, and now I'm going and adding some form to the lines that I've drawn. I basically turned the lines brown, and now I'm painting on them. I think I've flattened everything at this point. I'm also using a photo that is not him in the character of Serac. So I used a couple other reference photos for the hair and the facial hair, but I really liked his expression in this photo, so I'm sort of combining it. Honestly, right now, he sort of looks like some older photos of my grandfather, Emlyn, and I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe just something subconscious coming out. And also the lack of detail makes it a little easier to envision someone else, but just something I noticed. Hi, Mom. So another thing that I needed to change was his wardrobe. This photo that I used for his face looks like maybe it's from a movie premiere or something like that, and he's in a generic suit. I wanted to give him his sort of Crockett Miami Vice getup that he has in this one particular scene. I think it was maybe the second or third episode. He's wearing this white linen suit, and it's very supervillain to the extent that you have to wonder if they're maybe using a little misdirection there. Dolores, for example, is not exactly a righteous character from the perspective of the humans. Okay, so I'm blocking in some of the darker colors of his suit. I'll go back in later and add some highlights, and I'm also sort of just playing around with the placement to make sure that the anatomy makes sense. It can be a bit iffy when you're using multiple photos, when you're sort of combining them together, but overall I think it's working pretty good. Just blocking in highlights, and you can see I also changed the color of the highlight on the side of his face from a yellowish light to blue. I don't know why I did that. I guess at some point I was thinking maybe I would change it to red. Ultimately, it didn't look very good red, so I think I actually change it back at some point in the video. So I mentioned before some of the downfalls of using a photo to color pick your colors is that it doesn't always work, and the colors can sometimes come out a lot flatter, boring, and more brownish than you may want. So what I'm doing right now is I'm putting an adjustment layer on my painting to get the colors how I like them. I wanted to get this real processed look where the shadows have a lot of blue in them and the highlights sort of contrast that, being that the main highlight is sort of orangish right now. And then what I do is I put that same adjustment layer on the photo layer. What that does is lets me then keep color picking from the photo with my new colors. Okay, I'm going to slow the video down here to show you something in the Liquify tool. This is called Face-Aware Liquify. Now obviously this is meant to be used on photos, but if you've drawn a portrait that is real enough, that has the landmarks of the eyes, the nose, the mouth, you can use this tool to subtly adjust each of these sections, and it uses sort of, AI or whatever to figure out which sections and make the selections for you. So you can see as I'm moving these sliders around, some interesting things are happening. Let's see, what are we going to do right now? This is the hairline, which I knew needed to be a little bit lower. Now, it could have been tough to just pull and it would have gotten all stretchy, but with this, it very smartly only moves the portions that need to move. So right here, this is the width of the face. as you could see, it was only moving the sides of the face and not the eyes, the nose, and the mouth, which wouldn't move because those would be part of your skull. This is an amazingly powerful tool. Right now you can see I'm tweaking the eye settings. There's a little link in between them. If you don't click it, you can adjust each eye independently. And yeah, I was really blown away by this. I'd never used it in this way before, and I found that it was super helpful. I think after this liquify, you'll see the likeness is much better after than it was before, and it was a very fine-tuned way to adjust all of that. Okay, we're going to go back to full speed, and you'll see that I'm just going to be refining some of this stuff, blending some of these colors from dark to light. I'm using Zoe Peel's Oil Rig Smudge tool preset. I always really like to use it. It honestly gets a little smoother than I like, but I'll go back later and add some texture. Okay, another difference between my photo reference and this one was he had some very small 5 o'clock shadow in my picture, but Serac has a sort of short gray beard. But I'm going to slow the video down again to show you a filter called polar coordinates. So I knew I wanted the circular map thing showing all the different divergences, but I didn't want to just have it be too digital looking like I did it on a computer. So what I'm doing is doing scribbles in a line, and then I'm going to use filter polar coordinates. This will take anything from rectangular, so if it's a line, it will create a circle. You could input a circle and it will turn it into a flat plane. Like if it was a fisheye picture, you could, get some interesting results throwing it through polar coordinates. But basically I got my scribbles down. We're gonna go filter, distort, polar coordinates. There's no real settings for it. It's just rectangular to polar or polar to rectangular. And you can see it created the circle, and this is gonna be a good starting point for me. What I'm gonna do, scale it up to size. Then I'm going to start masking it out because it really just looks like scribbles right now. So I duplicate it a few times, start masking it out to get this uneven, non-uniform look that the maps, you can see the reference I have on the left. Those are both screenshots from the TV show or ads for it or something like that. And basically the large bumps are showing divergences. If it was a perfect circle, it would be perfect in Serac's world. That would mean that there was no divergences, everything was going according to plan. As you can see, I'm going to work on the concept for the photo now, which was basically what would be a large divergence at the top representing Serac, but also his position at the top, and you'll see what I mean in a few minutes. I toyed with this idea of multiple different simulations going into the background, but ultimately I felt that it distracted from the portrait, which is what we're doing here. So I decided to keep the simple, clean look of the maps from the show and simply keep Serac and his Burger King Kids Club crown. Okay, I'm going back. I'm adding some more detail to his beard, more shading around the neck and highlights. It's going to be finishing touches from here on out. More volume to his beard, more texture to his skin. I'm going to add some cross hatching. I discovered in my brushes, it's actually in the Mark Molnar Mega Brush Pack that I linked in one of my previous videos. But I found this amazing rake brush. It says that it's for hair, but that's not really what I used it for in this. I did use it for that as well, but it essentially just looks like you're taking a rake to it, and I sort of used it to add some cross-hatching later, and it really took the painting from something that looked almost done to, it just added that final element that it needed. Okay, this is where I start putting the final touches on the hair and start using that rake brush to just add some final texture to the rest of this piece. I'm using it to really enhance the lighting and just adjust some of the volumes where maybe my color blending wasn't quite as strong. I can go back with some cross hatching, and it has the double effect of helping the values read correctly and adding a little bit of style to the piece. As I mentioned before, I don't really like the fully photorealistic look, which is convenient because I can't do it, but I do like to get as close as possible for my skill set. Here I am adding a little more detail to his eyes. I added a lot of really nice squiggles in there. Then I added the highlight at the bottom that makes it look almost like a water droplet. Remember, your eyes do have a lot of volume and depth, even just in that iris. And now I'm gonna really crank this lighting up, take it to the next level, and get some more texture in there. Enjoy. Apropos of nothing, did you remember that OPP by Naughty by Nature was set to ABC by the Jackson 5? I did not, and it blew my mind today. Okay guys, here's the final piece. Take a look at all of that wonderful texture. I am super psyched about how this one came out. I love the bluish shadows, I love the yellowish light. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you watching Westworld Season 3? If so, how do you think it compares? Personally, I'm enjoying it way more than Season 2. The fact that it's basically become person of interest could not be more well received by me. I was a huge person of interest fan, and I love the dueling AI concept. Okay, here's the final piece, Serac's Perfect World. The one, of course, where he is the only human who has free will, and he is the only divergence, the only outlier. Let me know what you think in the comments, and yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget, we are giving away a Huion H610 Pro graphics tablet at 1,000 subs. All you need to do to be entered is to subscribe, click the notification bell, like, and leave a comment on this video. I use a random app to give the prizes away, so the more you comment, the better chance you have of winning. We're also going to be giving away $50 gift card to Imprint at every 250 subs. The next one's coming up at 750 subs. That's coming up quick, so subscribe. Please, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching the video. My name is Sean, this is Draw Every Day, and we're going to be back with another video tomorrow.